Okay, so that should be recording again now. Just give it a second. Yeah, so that's recording. Okay, so yeah, so I'll show you the straight stair glass balustrade or the approach I'd use. So using the stair tool. So let's say I'm going to have a an internal stairway. Let's pretend we've got a 2-story unit here. So I'll put in a flight over here. It's so many steps, and then another flight over here. Okay, just adjust the position a little bit. I'm just using the arrow keys here just to nudge those flights. Okay, so then I'll finish it. And then I'm going to select the stair and use this great tool that they put into Revit a little while ago called Selection Box. I think I've shown most of you this one. So I've selected the stair, and if I click Selection Box, that makes a section box to view. In other words, the section box, this big cube or rectangular prism thing, is going around my stair, which makes it nice and easy to see. I've got a few other things in the way there that I've been demonstrating. I'm sure you'll remember, so I'll just hide that stuff. Okay, so there's my stair. And of course we go and put a hole in the floor. So I'm just picking a couple of lines there from the side of the stair so I can work out where the opening needs to be. And then the first and the last step as well. Okay, so hopefully if I orbit there, you can see a bit more clearly the shape of my opening. So I'll finish that and just show you so you can see there. So this should be the way you're thinking about the design of stairs. Right, so we've worked out the opening, but then having a look at that, you might think, well, does it really make sense to have this little bit of floor space that is just poking out? It could be useful floor space actually, but I think it could be nicer to make a real feature of the stair by getting a void, and that's also a nice thing to get connection between your levels. Void's always really important for that, so we can go back and edit that boundary and maybe just trim those lines across to get the void space there for my opening, which of course still connects to the stairs, but gives us much more open area. Right, and then I'd start to think about the detail once I'd confirmed that that was all made sense for the planning. Then I'd start to look at the balustrade design, and so here this balustrade, of course, is the only one we need. We don't need the one against the wall, so I've deleted that. And then this balustrade, of course, would be necessary. But I'll just show you the glass panel balustrade that you've got there. You'll probably see, you'll all have this when you go to properties. Gives us these individual panels, which are pretty ugly, to be honest. And I'm sure you all want, if you're going to do glass these days, most people want to have those more continuous plain glass panels. So that's what I want to show you next. So it's very difficult to make the railing tool do that for you. You'll see there are all sorts of methods you can use to get profiles to do something close to what you'd want. But even with all those settings, and I'll just show you quickly what I mean. When you go to edit type, you've got all sorts of settings for the rail structure where you can put in different profiles, and you can also use some of the options there for the balustrades as well. And you can get something to work, but as I was saying, it's not perfect, and it doesn't always give you what you want. So instead of trying to get the railing tool to do what I want, I'm going to delete that one as well. And then go to, so you can all guess, component, model in place. I'll set the category still to railing, so Revit still thinks of this as a railing, even though I'm going to be modeling it. And so I'll call it stair glass railing. Railing. Yep. Okay. So then, and this is a really good little example of modelling in different planes, which you've all been shown and seem to be taking in when we've looked at previously, which is good. So we're just building on that idea. So here, before I go to make my extrusion, I'm going to click Set. Yeah, it's a good approach. And so so here, if we go to pick a plane and then click OK, I'm going to choose the side of the stair, any of the sides. You can see there it comes up as separate segments. It doesn't matter which one you pick. And then now I'll go to make an extrusion and choose pick lines from the drawing panel there. And I'm going to pick the base of that that precast stair. Then I want to offset that line, but I've got a problem if I use offset because it's going to offset at the same angle as that line. So that's not going to work. So instead, I'm going to draw a line from the tip of one stair to the tip of the last one. Right, so then I'm going to select that line, click Move, and you'll see if you look at the BCA, the control is actually 865, but I'm going to take it up 900. So I'm just going to type 900. And then draw another line for the last, or where the glass finishes, which is in line with the last step there. And then trim. Okay, so that's that end, and then coming down to here. So it's actually a really good approach because you've got total control over how the glass, or over the shape of the glass. So I've just drawn a line up from there, and then I'll draw another one across the bottom. And then again, just trim to join those together. And then this time, now, again, on a stair, you can go down to 865, but I'm going to make it a meter. And this is why, again, it's such a nice approach, because I can just make this part 1,000. I'm picking the top of the landing there, so I'm going to get a line a meter above that. So that part's a meter, but then remember on the stair it was 900. And trust me, if you try to get the railing tool to do that, it won't work. It won't let you have different heights, even though it's supposed to. Getting a different height on your landing as opposed to a stair is very, very difficult. But if you're just drawing the shape yourself, no problem. So then I'm going to change the extrusion end to 20. So that's the thickness of our glass. In reality, it would be, it wouldn't even be that thick. But if you draw it 20, that'll look like it's the right size. So there we are. There's my pane of glass, or my big panel of glass. In real life, these would be separate, a few separate sheets probably, but we can draw it as one big sheet. And then in properties, I'll set the material to glass. Okay, so just to the regular plain glass material. And we'll just check any questions. Oh, Todd, hi. And so you can see there we've got the oh, Todd, yeah, so we're just recording, and so I've asked people to leave their questions until after the recording, just following. Oh, he's left. Okay, anyway. So okay, so anyhow, you can see then that we've got the glass now needs to be done on the other stair. So I'm going to then use exactly the same approach. I just want to repeat it so it's clear. So go back to create, and then again, set. I'll do that first. You can do it before or after, but I'll do it before. So set, pick a plane, click OK, choose the side of the stairs there, go to extrusion, and again, get as much as I can with pick lines. So picking the bottom edge of the stair there, and then also the part where it connects to this landing. And I can also get then the edge. I'll actually do it from the glass. And then again, join all those lines together with trim. And continue then, in this case, I'll just use pick lines and put in an offset value to get the meter above the landing. And then again, use that method I showed you before as well to draw a line now. Remembering here, I've got to put the offset back to 900. So just drawing a line now from the top. Now here, notice how, because I'm using the drawing option with offset, I need to draw in a certain direction. Space also will flip it. So if I draw and the line goes to the wrong side, I can use space to flip it the other way, or I can just draw it the opposite way to achieve the same thing. And then again, back to drawing, and I'll show you a nice little trick here. If you cancel and then go back to drawing a line again, it'll clear that offset value, so you don't have to type 0. It saves you a step. Okay, so then I can trim and join all of these lines together. And there we are. Okay, so now I've got my second shape drawn, and if I finish it, you can see there, I just need to change the material to glass as well for this one. So I've got then a nice, fairly clean balustrade there. And so maybe then we'll show you how to make it into a more of a designer stair just as an extra thing. So this is a solid concrete stair, which for some designs actually can be a really beautiful thing, but I'm sure many of you would want to have maybe more of an open type of staircase, almost like a cantilevered stair. So we could always go back and try an assembled stair instead. So cast in place and precast basically are the same. They're both for concrete stairs. Assembled stairs give you more options for your stringers, so your risers and your treads. So we'll duplicate this and we'll call it open risers. And then I want to change the run type, so I'll go to there, click browse, duplicate, and again we'll just call this open risers. And then turn off the risers. Okay, so don't worry about this message, just click OK. And so I've got there nice open risers, but you can see there we've still got stringers, so I'll go back and get rid of those too. Okay, so I can just set the stringers to be none on each side. Okay, so then I know some of you are asking as well about setting materials for your stairs. So I'll just quickly finish off with that. So if I go back and select the stair again, go to edit type. So to set the material for the treads and the risers, again, it's in the run type. So I'll select that, go to browse, and then you can see we've got the tread material at the top is set on by category. So if I click there, I can change that, let's say to, let's do wood. I like using wood if I can. So I'll just choose one of my wood materials. Remember, we're going to go right through materials in a moment. And then notice how the riser material is grayed out. I could set it if I had risers turned on, but because I've got risers turned off, it's grayed out. I can't change it. That's fine. I don't want any risers, but just so you know, if you want to set your riser material, of course it's there. You just need to have risers turned on. But again, I don't care about risers because I want to have an open staircase. And there we are. So is that what some of you were thinking about with your glass balustrades? Well, actually, again, I told you not to answer any questions, so I'll stop the not sitting against the wall. Yes, so, okay, so, all right, so yes, you can, of course. Yeah, you would do them exactly the same way, except that if it wasn't against the wall, so maybe I'll just copy this one into a different place just to show you the main issue there. So I've just copied it across. Okay, so I'll make another view for that. Okay, so if that was a freestanding stair, it couldn't be cantilevered. In other words, it couldn't be supported by the wall. So that means you would need to have some sort of support or a stringer. Right, and that's okay because you can simply go into the stair properties. I'll duplicate this one and we'll call it open riser middle stringer. And then you can simply go down to the, where are we? This is an assembled stair. Oh yes, so the supports, sorry. And then turn on the middle support. If you don't want the stringers on the sides, you can have a middle support instead. Right, so you can see it's just added that. Right, and it works really well, that middle stringer option, except that it doesn't go under the landing. So if you want that to look more convincing, you would need to then go and model using, again, model in place. All right, so we can still set the category to stairs, that's fine. So again, it's good you're asking about this because it's a really good example again of that approach to modeling that I've been showing you. So using set, pick a plane, and I'm going to choose the bottom of that landing, and then make an extrusion using pick lines. I can pick either side of the stringers from each of those different flights. So just orbiting so you can get a better view of that, and then joined all together. I keep missing them. There we go. And then back to pick lines, and I can pick the edge of the landing now to know where it finishes. And this is one of the best things in Revit, that ability to pick things from different planes and having them project onto the plane you're working on is a really powerful thing. And a lot of other programs struggle with this. I'm sure you all know SketchUp is terrible at this, but it's not just SketchUp. Most 3D modeling programs have issues with that approach, and Revit is really good at it. So we'll bring this down, and then that can connect, and you'd probably just try and go in between, unless you want to do all the hard work of working out a slope or how it's going to connect at the top. But I think even like that, it's not too bad. Maybe you can come down further, something like that. Otherwise, it just looks a bit unconvincing. But again, leave that detail until the end. There's no point putting in that detail and then realizing your stair has to change completely and you have to do it all again. So I might finish the recording and then we can look at any other questions, just because I don't really want to be recording the questions.